Dracula never breathed a word of it. But many began to think that his time at the Ottoman court had stoked his hatred for his southern neighbor. For years, he had brooded over his brother, Radu, who had treacherously pledged himself to the Turks. Dracula also had his vows to the Order of the Dragon to consider. The Pope and the Hungarian regent both desired war with the Turks. In the year 1462, Sultan Mehmed II renewed his efforts and sent a force of 18,000 into Wallachia. Thinking that Dracula would be unable to mobilize his army quickly enough, the Sultan sought to take Wallachia by storm with this small force. He was, of course, sadly mistaken. I had heard whispers of the Danube butchering, but never a first-hand account. Dracula's enduring ability to overcome the most fearsome force of his time mesmerized me. Dracula had a thirst for blood unlike any other, but he was fair. His sense of justice wrought a change in all of us. Dracula taught us to use our strengths to our advantage. Terror, speed, and surprise became weapons more potent than our blades.
Finish these Ottoman dogs, but seize what prisoners you can. We will impale them all back at Targovishta.
One upset does not win a war, Vlad Sepesh. 10 times the number of men that you just faced advance as we speak. Prepare to meet your god.
The border castles are the key to this region. We must defend them all from the Turkish onslaught.
My lord, the boyars and their peasants in the countryside will provide us with resources to field our armies. But they are a fickle lot. Perhaps it would be wise to seize what they have before they turn it over to the Turks.
The arms of the Sultan's vanguard shine like gold in the sun. Soon, they will add your silver to our coffers.
Во имя Господа вашим слугам. Приказание. Тотчас далее.
Да, господин, вашему слугу, понятно? В бой! Сделаю.
Do you remember Radu Bey, your brother? The legions of Janissaries under his command alone outnumber the peasant rabble that you call an army.
Собираюсь. Понятно. К вашим услугам. Понятно. Тотчас сделаю. Понятно. Да. Собираюсь.
Правильно. Тотчас сделаю. Тотчас сделаю. Правильно.
Атака! Вашим услугам. Приказание оружию. Да. Вашим услугам. Атака!
The treacherous boyars have paid justly for their crimes. We will use their wealth to build a stronger Wallachia.
Да, ас вашими слугами.
Да, тотчас сделаю. Ас готова. Ас сделаю. Зыждительница. Приказание. Зыждительница. Здрав будь.
Even the vast walls of Constantinople crumbled before the might of our bombards. Do you truly think that your measly fortifications will withstand the barrage?
Понятно.
Приказание. Атака! Бой! К оружию! К вашим услугам. Приказание. Бой!
Да,
Hungarian cavalry have arrived to aid in our defense against the Turks.
Hold on, my brothers. Our victory is nearly in sight.
Unfortunately, this was where my lord and I were separated. The Turks entered the castle courtyard at Poyanari with murder on their minds and ransacked the fortress that we had fought so hard to defend. Taking refuge in a secret tunnel, I watched Dracula's boat float downstream. The stone bastions of Poyanari never caught flame, so I was spared. As if God was with us, an avalanche struck the departing Turkish army and blocked the route to the castle. Although this evidence of divine retribution stirred our host, I figured it was caused by the enemy cannon. I was not eased by the change in the mood of our host. The calls of wolves and the bats filled the air as we feasted. It seemed that the old man was lost in ruminations of times long gone by. Finally, the ancient warrior resumed his tale. It was a long 12 years. I was alone, waiting here for signs of Dracula's return. But all I ever saw were Turkish marauders ravaging the countryside of this once beautiful land and tormenting the people. One thing kept me from despair. The last words I had heard from my lord, that he would return in the end. I repeated these words to myself every day and promised myself that he would succeed. It was a fool's hope, but it was the best that I had. So I endured. Dracula had preserved enough food and water in the castle to last an entire army several years. I had begun to think that he would never return. But rumor among the locals told me differently. When I overheard the same as I spied on Turkish patrols, I became more confident. I shuddered at the sight of the land that he would return to. One day, I awoke to the thundering of hooves and the frenzied war cries of soldiers pouring down from the Carpathians. It was Dracula, at the head of a Hungarian army come at last to liberate us from the yoke of the Turks and their Wallachian puppet, Basarab Leota.
Moro, értettem. Rohan, rendben. Támadás, igen, értettem, rendben. Előre.
Dracula, drive the Turkish invaders off and retake the fortress of Sabat.
Igen, uram. Támadás. Rohan. Parancs. Rendben. Érted? Igen, uram. Érted? Rendben. Igen. Igen, uram. Szolgálat. Rendben. Igen. Szolgálatár. Szolgálat. Előre. Támadás. Rohan. Igen. Előre. Szolgálat. Rohan. Igen. Támadás. Szolgálatár. Előre. Érted? Igen, uram. Rohan. Parancs. Támadás. Rendben. Értettem. Parancs. Igen, igen, uram. Rendben. Igen, uram. Értettem. Igen, uram. Értettem. Rendben. Értettem. Igen, uram. Támadás. Parancs. Szolgál. Rohan. Parancs. Előre. Szolgál. Értettem. Igen, uram. Igen. Rendben. Támadás. Igen. Parancs. Rohan. Támadás. Rendben. Rohan. Szolgálatás. Előre. Támadás. Előre. Igen. Parancs. Érted? Szolgálat. Támadás. Igen. Rendben. Szolgálat. Igen, uram. Parancs. Rendben. Értettem. Igen, uram. Értettem. Rendben.
The Hungarian border is safe from the Turks. To Wallachia!
Igen, igenis. Azonnal. Értettem. Hagyjon Isten, megyek.
Parancs. Igen, uram.
Arise, brothers, and help me overthrow the usurper, Basarab Lyota!
Parancs. Megyek. Azonnal.
Vlad Dracula's men. We are only humble craftsmen. But if you protect and feed us, we will construct cannons for you.
You have stirred the wrath of the great Ottoman Empire for the last time. Now you will pay with your life. My puppet Lyota has orders to take you alive, Kaziglu Bey. An oak stake awaits you in Istanbul.
Érted? Igen, uram. Parancs. Érted? Rendben.
Megyek. Azonnal megyek. Értettem. Igenis. Szolgálatára. Megyek. Értettem. Szolgálatára.
Hail, friend. Some of the finest warriors in all of Europe are for hire here. Dascun Condottieri or Balestrieri from Genoa.
Igen, építkezek.
You are beyond generous, Lord Dracula.
Igen, azonnal.
We will begin our work immediately. The bombard cannon is ready. The enemy will tremble at the sight of it.
Parancs. Rendben. Értettem. Igen, uram. Rendben. Igen, értettem. Rendben. Parancs. Értettem. Igen, uram. Értettem. Előre! Szolgálat. Igen, uram. Értettem. Roham! Igen, rendben. Parancs. Igen, uram. Előre! Szolgálat. Rendben. Támadás! Igen. Rendben. Előre! Igen, uram. Támadás!
The traitor Bassaram Leota is dead!
Rendben. Roham! Értettem. Rendben. Parancs! Igen, uram. Előre! Szolgálat. Rendben. Támadás! Igen, uram. Támadás! Támadás! Roham! Előre! Szolgálatát! Támadás! Igen, rendben. Roham!
Bombard cannon is ready. The enemy will tremble at the sight of it.
The Turkish invaders have been pushed back once and for all!
Parancs. Igen, uram. Értettem.
Dracula achieved the victory at last, and the invaders fled before him. Rallying his men, he charged the enemy ranks with an unspeakable vengeance that emboldened his army. A decisive victory was near, but it was at that hour that Dracula's luck ran out. A volley of arrows whistled through the air and struck Dracula in the chest, knocking him from his horse. The Turks easily routed our leaderless forces, and our chance to drive them out vanished. The occupation resumed, and the survivors despair. The memory of a great man endures forever. As a token of gratitude, I invited our host to join us in a pilgrimage to the monastery at Snagaf to pay our respects to Dracula's grave. Tears running down his face, the elderly man could do naught but nod.